What? Why is he just a tree now? Welcome back to Talk 2 of Part 2. I got my lovely assistant Owen here with me,
Today we'll be talking about the new creative director ruining the game.
and less of the original Fortnite, map pool changes, battle pass, less of the old monetization
Uh, Movement is a big
movement.
part.
So let's start with moving.
Well, I think movement and the new scopes are kind of an issue because, less bloom, I guess, but, movement kind of felt clunky. You couldn't really run, sprint, do nothing like that. Yeah, they kind of removed it to start with. Sliding was a cool addition. The scopes, I think, were kind of, stupid. Building your weapon, that's kind of cool. But, I don't know, I guess it kind of dissipates the feeling of, playing the game for the first time.
Yeah, I think the removement of the OG movement was a very bad idea. It just got rid of, again, the less original Fortnite. I think everyone didn't really like it at first. I mean, you couldn't run, it was just walking and you couldn't move as fast. The build fights were changed, just different mechanics. The meta was changed for a few months. But the sprinting and sliding, again, was an amazing addition, but it doesn't mean that everything was good.
Yeah, just because they did add additional movement like sprinting and sliding, they did get rid of other movement like go-karts, the ATVs, quad crashers, ballers, stuff like that. Planes. I mean, planes were absolutely terrible, don't get me wrong. Helicopters, they were mid. They were mid. But ballers was a big part of it because, those things were fun. So, back in the volcano, those was good times and they removed it, stripped it away.
And this just brings us to the less of the original Fortnite. The bring in stuff from other places where they have to collab with because they have no original ideas. That goes for emotes, skins, bringing in different collab groups. The game set, the icon series, the music festivals. The rocket racing, the Lego Fortnite.
Yeah, there's some like frowned upon game modes now, like Team Rumble, that's down there. There's not a lot of new game modes that, really stuck, like Close Encounters or the one sniper game mode I forgot what it was called.
One shot
Yeah, one shot, especially duos.
or all legendary. The legendary game
Yeah.
mode where all your weapons broke.
Nah, that was all right.
Yeah.
I felt like, normal, like the normal game mode added like an addition, like, you gotta scramble for a weapon as soon as you hit
Yeah.
the ground. Like, you kind of just felt like everybody, first person to get like a shotgun has it all there.
Yeah.
Also felt like monetization, they did that big thing with like they removed like they like flagged a bunch of skins because they had like a grenade on their hip or like a pistol or something. They're just skins. Like I guess like there's always like big topics about kids becoming more violent from, video games, but like they've been shown that's not true.
Yeah.
They could be a way to reduce stress, anxiety, depression, and stuff like that because you're playing with your friends.
And, I think that the monetization and removing skins with any sort of weapon on them is kind of stupid because why wouldn't they just make that a part of the game when it first came out? You have all these little kids playing and then you decide to remove it like when you're way far into development into the game. And, it's like you said, it's not that big of a deal. They're fake and pretty much everyone can tell it's fake. They just need some common sense.
Yeah, I think that you spent like a bunch of money on these skins, like this guy over here, a couple $1,000. Me myself, I'm not good for that either. But at least I'm better than this guy. Anyways,
Valorant is.
okay, all right, yeah, that's enough, bro. We don't even gotta talk about that. That you spent all these V-Bucks for nothing, hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands gone into this, and you just have them removed. Like, I don't know what he was thinking of that, but they probably lost a lot of money. And there was also like lawsuits going around. There was also, back then when there's like the floss, the backpack kid emote, and a lot of lawsuits going around with those emotes, and certain skins too. Not, I felt like there was more. Like,
Yeah, there's definitely more.
yeah, no, like the creative. You remember like the creative lockers? Like it would have like a custom like skin set,
Oh,
like for
yeah.
like a certain creator.
Yeah.
I felt those were better than actually adding icon skins. Even
Yeah.
though like actually having like your favorite person's locker, I think that's like way better than having just a single icon skin.
Yeah. I think they just need to make the game way more simple like it was, because I think the more simple it was, the more people liked it. And there wasn't just a lot to wrap your head around. And it was just
Yeah.
easy to understand.
Especially if you're coming from like you haven't played in a while and you're trying to like fight all these like weird like new things. Like you don't even know what like sliding or like running and jumping is or like this new movement with like building and stuff, like jumping off walls and like scaling up them. Like you wouldn't know any of that.
Although I think the zero build mode was a pretty good idea because, people that didn't want to get into build fights, which was a lot of people. I've known quite a few people who just hate building. My personal opinion is just get better at the game. But,
I'm one of those people. I hate building.
yeah, but zero build is a very good option for people who don't want to get into those intense build fights and just want something like Call of Duty, but also with,
Fortnite mechanics.
yeah, Fortnite mechanics and like different locations. It's essentially like Warzone, honestly.
Yeah, zero build was definitely a good idea for like newer people, especially if you don't understand the building mechanics, as I previously stated. So I just think that personally, that the new creative director did indeed ruin the game for most people,
Yeah.
if not all, except for the new people that just started the game. Maybe they liked it, but previous
Yeah, they're
like
they're not the OG people, Obviously, newer people who come onto the game, these started with it, so they're gonna warm up to it and like it. But people who started the game when it first came out, like myself and also him, they're not gonna like it at all. They're gonna want the old game back, and I agree with them. I think they should bring the old game back if they want more people to like it.
I can agree with that. And then I guess I guess they're making more money with these newer seasons, and I think they would lose money if they brought it back to the old seasons because of collaborations they didn't have
Yeah.
many.
But
Like
they could still bring collaborations into the game with the old seasons. I just think they should make more creative skins and emotes and all that.
there were some collaborations like the Marshmallow event, like
Yeah.
Travis Scott.
Like those were good events because they still had creativity.
Yeah, they were new. They were new edition, like you haven't seen them before, and that's
Yeah.
why they were good. But they also had live events that were cool. But now they're just kind of, meh. Like, sure, they're cool, like the Monster and the Mech. That was a good live event.
Yeah.
Kevin the Cube coming to the late. It wasn't really a live event. Like you didn't really have to wait for it. Well, I guess you did.
It was just over a period of time though, but like, everyone could watch it at once and it was just something that was happening in game.
Yeah, like they had a giant like the Zero event like in the middle of the map. I thought that was cool. When
Yeah.
the map flipped. Terrible season. I'm not gonna lie. That was
But honestly, I think every event has been pretty good up to this point, other than, that odd one that they could have done something differently. But I think every event didn't, most events didn't disappoint, other than maybe, the Ariana Grande concert. That was,
Man, can we even call it an event? Man, that's terrible.
yeah, no. What they have done with the game and what they're doing, like now, bringing, they brought back the permanent OG game mode of Fortnite. That was an amazing addition. Having its own battle pass. I think they're getting back on the right track, but
I just felt like some of the live events they didn't really contribute to like the storyline and stuff.
yeah,
But like the Travis Scott event, that was a great event. It didn't contribute anything, but it was still like something to remember.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like other events like Ariana Grande, there was an Eminem event. I thought that was cool. That was a good
Oh,
event.
the new concert. Oh, wait, no, there was two Eminem events.
Yeah, I was talking about the one where you like, I don't know, you just like in Fortnite you could like play with them.
Was it the Godzilla event?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that brought us to the new
Yeah.
chapter.
Yeah, that didn't like.
The one that brought us to the new movement, the new game director.
Yeah,
See, after the very good event, they just ruined the game. This is
Exactly.
another thing. See, that's
you can see that clear difference
yeah,
between the season
right.
changes.
The concert before we went in, when OG Fortnite was a thing, that the Big Bang event was an amazing event until after they brought in the new game developer or the creative developer, and they just completely ruined the movement and the gunplay, the game changes.
Yep, I thought the black hole was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Season 10 was good. I would say
Yeah.
season X, sorry, but the mechs terrible,
Yeah.
terrible. The movement terrible also. Like they removed so much stuff, they bought so little back. But I think it was a good idea. Black hole, good event,
Yeah.
and new creative director ruined the game.
Yeah. I think we touched base on basically everything. So thank you for joining us and talk to a part 2. Let us know if you want another part 3, and let us know if you want any more games. And
Thank
We
you for your
should-
time.
thank you for your time. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Let's go.
Let's go.